back, everybody. This is Jeffrey Reynolds from Reynolds Runabouts. This week I worked on what I consider to be one of the most enjoyable parts of restoring a boat, and that is putting the hardware on the boat for the dry fit. And by that I mean putting it on the boat, finding the areas that you think look best. This original deck layout had a lot of extra stuff on it that I have not chosen to replace. There was a different look to it that I thought was very busy. So over the years I've taken the time to speculate how I'd like to look at that deck with the chromed hardware that I had done, I think in 2002. It was one of the first things that I sent out to a vendor when I got the boat, which you have to do. If you're in a hurry to get chrome done anywhere, it's one of the first things you should send out to the vendor and plan on paying handsomely for, so you get it done well. And there's plenty of vendors out there that are reputable. Fortunately, the firm that did this is no longer in business in the Southwest Michigan area due to issues with environmental sloppiness. I'm glad I had this done. I wasn't happy to find out what happened, probably with my chrome in the building, but I didn't know. So it was done very well. It's been sitting in storage for since 2002, and I'm so ready to put it back on the boat. So this week I test fitted it, and I also ran my wiring to test fire the lights and gauges and things that I wanted to make sure work, so that when I put the wiring in, I could just put labels on the ends of those wires. And I had one, I'll have to get up under the deck once. If I plan it right, I can get the wires poking through just enough where I can grab them so I don't have to crawl under this little deck. But if things go well, I will have the boat test fitted for hardware, fastener holes made, so that when I go to put varnish and sealer on, those holes will also get sealed, and then they'll just have to have the wood screws put back down with a little bit of bedding compound when they go back in, because most of them are fastened with chrome wood screws or stainless that I polish. And I will also make sure that the engine mechanism is set up, even though I'm waiting on the cables and a newly painted shifter for my Mercury 500, 1962 Mercury motor. This is a good time to do all that stuff when you're not going to mar the finish of the boat or the deck or the seats. It's still right in the area where I could ding something and still fix it. So this is a great time to do that. So this is what I did. In 2002, when I documented the boat before I started to systematically take it apart, I made a drawing of what was left of the deck, and all of the hardware was on the boat. So what I did, I went ahead and just measured and drew to scale what the boat hardware arrangement looked like originally, even though there was stuff on there I knew I wouldn't want to keep, which allowed me to come back at this time and put the boat relatively back to the original condition, excluding a few parts. And this is how I did it. In addition to the corner brackets or supports, whatever you want to call it, for the windshield, I also put the windshield on. I have installed a new, what they call a deck gasket. It was originally black, and I'm not sure yet whether I'll go back to black. I might have to order, I'll order one and see if I like the look of it. This windshield also had, I'm assuming originally had a piece of chrome or something on the top that was missing when I bought the boat. So I cleaned up the old bedding compound and ordered one online that is technically made for the outside edges of doors and windows on your car. It forms to the glass, and then over time it becomes one with the glass. And there's an adhesive in there that will eventually attach to the windshield. I might have to heat it up a little bit with a hairdryer just to get it to stick, because my shop is 60 degrees and they say 65. So we'll see if it works. If not, I'll give it a little heat from a hairdryer and get that to seat. And I think that's going to look really good once the blue tape is off. So the steering wheel, as you can see, is not restored. What I'm going to do is just hit this lightly with sandpaper, and they make a steering wheel repair putty that you can get at most automotive stores. And what I do is I go in and I sand away all this old paint from 1957. I'll pop out this chrome ring so I don't hurt it, and I can polish that. It's probably polished aluminum now that I see it. I'll get this down, go back in there with the putty, which hardens up, and then you can sand it smooth and get it, all these details put back in there. And then I'll prime it and I'll paint it to match this black and white combination. Obviously a lot better looking. I polished the steering column years ago and it still looks pretty good. I need to still polish this one windshield bracket, and then maybe even do the other one again. Aluminum, it dulls because that's how it's made up. It puts on a dull finish to protect itself from rust. So some of the reasons you can do is you can polish it and then hit it with clear coat and that'll preserve, the polish that you put on it, meaning the shine. So that's one way I could do that, or I could just polish it periodically with a light Brillo pad. So that's it, and then the gauge is next. So this concludes this week's update on the boat restoration that I am doing of a 1957 14-foot Wondercraft. Thank you for tuning in. Please remember to subscribe if you like the channel, and hit the like if you liked it even more, and I'll see you next week.